Call of Duty just released new patch notes for the new Warzone coming tomorrow, December 4th. So let's get into everything that's coming and everything that's new because this is going to be a lot to break down. If you look at the picture above me here, there's a lot of stuff to discuss from new maps, new guns, new loadout changes, new modes, and a bunch of other things. So without further ado, let's get into it. Call of Duty started off their blog discussing the Ricochet anti-cheat. And again, I'm going to start this video off by saying I don't believe anything until I actually see the results. I will say with Call of Duty Black Ops 7, even though it is paid, I did not see a single cheater in any one of my games in all of the first month of the game. I give credit where credit is due because I never thought I would actually see the day, but take that with a grain of salt because that is a $70 game as opposed to a free Warzone. The biggest test for Ricochet's anti-cheat is going to be ranked mode in Warzone and just in regular pubs in Warzone. But they say for Season 1, we're rolling out stronger detection tools and upgraded protections built to support fair play across both Black Ops 7 and Warzone. This includes improved boosting detections designed to catch unfair progression, the expansion of TPM 2.0, and secure boot requirements to Warzone. And a new tool coming later in the season, always coming later in the season, help players quickly verify that their PC meets our security requirements. So TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot are coming for Warzone. If you've already got this for BO7, you don't got to change anything. Next, they talk about the Battle Pass, which you guys can see here. I feel like Call of Duty is actually taking a little bit of feedback here, and these skins aren't really over the top, and they're a little bit more grounded. So maybe Battlefield kind of pushed them to do this. But if we scroll down here, now we're going to talk about everything actually coming to Warzone. And first and foremost is the maps. What are they changing with the maps, and what new maps are going to be coming? So first and foremost, there is a new Resurgence map called Haven's Hollow. I did play this only for 2 games, and I really did enjoy this map. Now, will this be better than fan favorite Rebirth? I don't know. Only time will tell. But for now, I thought it was a pretty decent map. They say Haven's Hollow is a brand new Resurgence map built from the ground up to deliver a fresh Resurgence experience. It is inspired by late summer, early fall Appalachia, blending small town Americana with a striking modern research complex to create a timeless lived-in world. This map features vibrant lighting, colorful foliage, strong visibility, and carefully tuned pacing that lands just slightly larger than Rebirth Island while still maintaining that fast, high-intensity feel. They're pretty much telling us that they're trying to mimic Rebirth probably because it has the best player count right now, and they're making it just slightly bigger or a slightly bigger scale to Rebirth Island. Obviously not the map itself, but more of the pacing of the game. So here are the POIs. We have train station, pond, mansion, barn, research center, coal depot, lumber mill, riverboat, and main street. The map doesn't look incredibly big. It kind of reminds me of Vondel for whatever reason. When playing the game, that's kind of the vibes that I got. Main street down low reminded me of the city in Caldera. I forgot what that city's called. So let's see what else they said. So Barn, they took people's feedback from Call of Duty Next and a playtest that they had earlier with other creators. Barn was really bad at the start of the game, and they pretty much just changed it. They made Barn an actual barn instead of just a broken down little building, and they expanded this POI that made this actually feel like a brand new POI. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Haven's Hollow? I am excited to see this play out, see it play out in tournaments, and see general what the flow is going to be and if the vibe is going to be what everybody expected it to be. Now let's move on to Verdansk, and this is probably incredibly controversial because no one really asked for this, or I mean, I guess they did, but no one expected us to just get this on a brand new integration of a new year. You would think that with the integration of a new year, we would probably be getting Avalon, but no, we do not get a new big map. We just get a new POI change, which I do think is pretty good that they're doing POI changes, but not for an integration of a new game. Different POI should be added every season at minimum, not in a new integration of a game. So that's probably why a lot of people are not really happy about this, but let's go on. Located near the military base, Signal Station introduces a new high visibility landmark centered around its towering radar arrays. Players can complete a short side quest to activate the main radar and earn a portable tactical heat map. This item reveals nearby threat levels for your squad in real time and is lost upon death. So you can see here in this little kind of graphic here, it'll tell you where hot zones are. It said this POI brings much needed gameplay depth to what was previously a force with only an average drop rate. Positioned near the center of Verdansk, it stays relevant deeper into matches while logically fitting as a high altitude radar installation. Its unique multi-building layout provides a clear visual and gameplay identities without adding excessive conflict to already busy surrounding areas, with most lines of sight intentionally oriented towards military base. I will say the top left of the map definitely needed some love, so I'm glad they added it, but again, a lot of people did want Avalon or wanted a new map in general, and we're not getting that till probably Season 2. Now they did add another POI change with This Is Factory. This is a recreation of Factory back in Cold War integration, I believe. They just changed a couple things and changed a couple assets. It says right here, it is a remastered version of the fan favorite Verdansk 84 location. They say it stays intentionally close to the original design while introducing new environmental dangers, including active missile production. Now for new modes, because they did say they were going to be giving us a lot of new modes and a lot of different things here, we're going to have weekend only LTMs. So each weekend, a different limited time mode will be featured, giving players new ways to experience Warzone. The currently planned modes are as follows. So let's see. Week 1 is Buyback Royale, which I've loved buybacks. I don't know why they got rid of it. I'm glad it is returning. This is a fanfare mode that allows players to redeploy as long as they have enough cash when eliminated. So back in the day, I believe it was $4,000. So if you have $4,000 in cash and you die, you will come back. This makes for very fast-paced gameplay. For week 2, we have Amped Battle Royale. This is an experimental mode that increases base health to support longer, higher intensity engagements. Think of this kind of like Iron Trials. Now for weeks 3 and 4, oh man, there's no LTMs will be available during the holiday break. That sucks. Then for week 5, we're going to have Ultra Fast Resurgence. Details to be announced at a later date. I'm curious to see what this kind of entails. Now, playlist. Here we go. We're going to get into the juicy stuff. Open matchmaking. With the launch of Black Ops 7, open matchmaking, where skill is minimally considered, will be introduced to Call of Duty Warzone. No SBMM, this is just minimally considered skill levels. This change will apply to all non-casual modes available on the Warzone playlist. Now, this is where things get a little bit weird because they're saying skills minimally considered, but remember, there's a lot of casual modes. So the truly casual community is going to be on casual mode. Rightfully so, but that does mean that everybody else will have a poorer experience because open matchmaking will not actually be open matchmaking. A lot of the people that actually want to fight real players, which probably are going to be the better skilled players, are going to be playing in the open matchmaking gameplay. Thus, kind of dividing things into casuals being casuals and open matchmaking kind of just feeling like regular Warzone. Now, here are the playlists for week 1. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can. Okay, now let's get into another big change, and this is aim assist changes. They have said they have tuned strength at short and long ranges and refined full activation requirements to better balance engagements between controller and keyboard and mouse players. This is indeed a nerf to aim assist if you are coming from Warzone and Warzone only. If you've been playing BO7, you've already known the way this feels, and yes, this is a nerf. It said for the launch of Black Ops 7, Treyarch shared that in engagements between similarly skilled controller and keyboard and mouse players, data showed a slight controller advantage at close range and a keyboard advantage at long range. As such, Black Ops 7 launched with a new right stick aiming requirement for achieving maximum rotational aim assist strength. When the right stick isn't used, so when you're not moving your right stick at all, or isn't tracking a target effectively, players now experience a minimum rotational aim assist strength. The goal for this new mechanic and other aim assist range changes is to provide the most competitive experience for all players and inputs. So Warzone will be getting these changes at launch in Season 1. If you're coming from Black Ops 7, this will not be new to you and it'll feel pretty familiar. If you're coming from Warzone, I promise you this will be a little bit jarring at first, but I promise you will get better. Don't worry. I like this. They're trying to find a balance between keyboard and mouse and controller players, and I am a controller player of 20 plus years, and even I think that aim assist should be nerfed, and finally they're taking steps in that. Now for movement, oh, I'm gonna be sad about this one. I already know it. For movement, our goal for this chapter is to make traversal feel smoother, more responsive, and more natural as you flow through the map. You know what? I'm gonna add to this. I'm gonna take that back. I played the new movement system at Call of Duty Next, and I said, yo, for whatever reason, things just feel snappier. It feels a lot more smoother. So I will say, I'll give them praise when praise is due. For whatever reason, what we played at Next feels a lot more snappier than what I'm used to playing at home with Warzone. So let's see what they actually changed. They said sprinting, remove attack sprint as a core ability. Now, hold on. I know a lot of you are gonna be pissed about this, but it actually played a lot better without attack sprint. And this is why. Active sprint is now available via the sprinter perk. And let me tell you, that thing is moving. With the sprinter perk, you tactical sprint so damn fast. But because of that, they did increase the base sprint speed. They then go on to say, by shifting tactical sprint into a perk unlock and boosting base sprint speed, players will still get a smooth, fast traversal experience, but your movement choices now carry more intention and build identity. This lets Sprinter lean into high mobility playstyles while keeping core movement fluid and fair to everybody. So they said this in a previous blog, but pretty much the base movement speed is now faster than Warzone's base movement speed when sprinting. But the tag sprint perk makes you incredibly fast. I'm not gonna really try to describe this. All I'm gonna say is it did feel very good at what we played at Next. I hope they didn't change anything. But because there is no tag sprint, that does also mean that whenever you pull up your gun to aim down sight, it does do it faster, which does mean also that you're able to run, bring up your gun quicker, and switch from target to target a lot faster as well, thus making the game feel a lot more snappier. At least that's what I think is happening here and why I felt at Next that the movement felt really, really good. Now, if you want to feel even crazier, you want to feel incredibly cracked out, you can then put on the Sprinter perk, and let me tell you, they actually did a good job at this. One thing that they always do, that Call of Duty always does when it comes to perks, they give you just a small little boost to whatever it is that they're adding with the perk. But no, for Sprinter, they actually made you really fast. Again, don't come yelling at me if they nerfed this when the game actually released. I hope not, but from what we played at Next, this was pretty cool. Now for the combat roll. They introduced the combat roll as a new movement tool this is now available through Mountaineer. So this is kind of like Battlefield if you guys have not seen it. You can jump off buildings and then you roll so you don't take any damage. Now for experimental mechanics, and this is the one has been probably the most controversial thing out of anything. I want to know what you guys think here. So it says we've enabled both wall jump and the grapple hook in all LTM modes throughout season 1. It said movement remains a core pillar of the Warzone experience, and we will be closely monitoring player feedback in our LTMs to identify opportunities for new mechanics, tuning, and future improvements. So what do you guys think? I know wall bouncing has been a huge controversy amongst Twitter, amongst YouTube, amongst everybody. Some casuals say no, leave it as is, and some people say yes, we want it feels good. The biggest reason why there's controversy here is that with Warzone 2, people hated that movement and they hated that it came to Warzone. We wanted things to be completely separate. We wanted Warzone to have its own movement and whatever game that comes out for that to have its own movement and its own systems. But the good thing here, and I kind of see why they're doing this, why they're making it an LTM, is they're trying things out first before they integrate it into the main game, which I guess is what we all wanted, so you can't really knock them for it. The good thing going forward is that if a game comes out, let's say next year, Infinity Ward, and it's really clunky and it's really slow, Warzone then has a decision where they want to include that movement into Warzone or not, the same way that they're doing here. But that also means that we're going to have to deal with them doing this. If for those of us that do want wall bouncing in the game, it's not going to come off launch. It's going to come in an LTM mode, and then they're going to base feedback and see, okay, did people like this? Did people like the wall bouncing? Should we incorporate this? And then they decide. Even though selfishly, I do wish it came at launch, this is good for the majority of players, and this is good for the game and for its health. Now for loadouts, they did change some things here too. For the streamline the create a class experience and reinforce weapon identity, we made several foundational changes to loadouts and weapon customization. Wildcards have been completely removed. And Overkill is now available to all players by default, so everybody goes back to having 2 guns. Since Overkill was already the dominant choice for most players, this change streamlines the loadout process and simplifies how players select the weapons and attachments that define their playstyle. Now for attachment cap, which I do kind of like this, we're going back to simplicity. Weapons are now limited to 5 attachment slots. With this change, builds are more deliberate and each weapon's identity is clear. This helps ensure that assault rifles feel like assault rifles, SMGs feel like SMGs, and each weapon class maintains its intended role without excessive overlap. Now for equipment options, a number of lethal and tactical equipment options have been moved out of the loadout selection and will only be available via in-match loot. With this change, our goal is to simplify loadout selection while making loot-only items more desirable and impactful. Each loot-exclusive item has been buffed to support this shift. This approach also gives us greater flexibility to rotate and bolt items throughout the chapter to keep the sandbox fresh. So now I'm curious to see what lethals and tacticals are going to be in loadout and which ones are going to be on ground loot only. Now, as far as the actual lethals and tacticals, they also have done a little bit of a refresh here. So it says lethals and tactical equipments have received a meaningful refresh this season, featuring a mix of powerful new additions and targeted adjustments to fan favorite tools. So it says starting in season 1, we're introducing the first wave of our equipment counterplay interactions. They call this their like paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors, whatever it's called. Pretty much they want things to be able to cancel out other things. Let's go stim shots. The stim shot can now be activated immediately after being hit by a flash or a concussion grenade to fully clear their disorienting effects. And for smoke grenades, if there is a Molotov or if there's fire on the ground, you can then throw a smoke to counter that fire. So for example, if somebody calls it a napalm strike, there's fire in front of you, but you need to rotate, you can just throw a smoke on the fire and then that goes away. They said that these are only the first of several interactions we have planned for Black Ops 7 year. We expect that these changes will lead to a more dynamic and interesting outcomes during engagements, especially if squads properly coordinate their shared arsenal. Now for lethals, so they did add a couple new things. So there's now a needle drone, which I guess is, yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's a small flying drone that explodes on impact. It has auto or manual control as well. There is a new point turret. So it's a small deployable sentry turret that automatically shoots at opponents, distracting and damaging them. So this is just a sentry gun. And C4s have been adjusted. Combat axe has been adjusted as well. Molotovs have been adjusted. Claymores are returning, drill charges are returning, frags are returning, proximity mines are returning, sticky grenades are returning, and thermites are returning. One thing that I have seen on Twitter that people are pretty upset about is that the combat axe has now replaced throwing knives. So there is no more regular throwing knives and there's just combat axes now. So for tacticals, there is the new Phantom Signal. This is a tracking virus device that affects up to 3 nearby opponents. Not consumed if no opponents are nearby. Tagged opponents emit sound for 10 seconds and tagged opponents appear on the compass. Only available in loot. So you're going to have to find this on the floor. One thing that's pretty important here is this says ghosted players can now be revealed by this device, while players using cold-blooded remain immune to its targeting. Most importantly, this equipment item is only consumed if there are opponents within range when you attempt to use it. Then we have the pinpoint grenade, which you guys know this one. You throw the grenade and it shows where anybody is through walls too. It's pretty crazy. Then they're adding the sight grenade, which this one's kind of OP. I wonder how this one's going to play out on Warzone. You see random enemies in front of you, even though they're not really there. It's an actual sight grenade. Think of like Itachi or something. Decoys are back, flashes are back, heartbeat sensors are back, and stim shots are back. Concussion grenades are back, shock charges are back, and smoke grenades as well are back. Now for field upgrades, we have the Echo unit, which is pretty much just a hologram of yourself. We have PDSs are making a return. Okay, I kind of like that. Armor boxes are returning, deployable covers are returning, munition box are returning, recon drones are returning, trophy systems are back, and Warcry is back. Now for resurgence only, we will have a redeploy drone beacon. So for kill streaks, we have bunker busters, we have care packages, right? So it calls in a crate containing high value loot. So it can include either an advanced UAV, a bunker buster, a utility box, or low chance at specialist. That's kind of crazy. Then 2 rare perks, 4 resupply items, cash, armor plates, or ammo. And then care packages can also deliver new seasonal rotating items. Cluster strikes are coming back, counter UAVs, napalm strikes, precision airstrikes, supply UAVs, and regular UAVs. Now for perks, let's go over first lootable perks. Lootable perks have been added to Battle Royale to expand in-match progression and create more dynamic power spikes throughout exploration. So for completing contracts, you'll get reactive armor, scavenger, mountaineer, and alertness. Then from legendary supply boxes, you'll get tempered, survivor, reactive armor, and alertness. And then in general, for resurgence, we're gonna have bomb squad, irradiated, scavenger, shrouded, alertness, veteran, cold-blooded, and reactive armor. Remember, the top ones are only for Battle Royale and the bottom ones are for resurgence only. Now perks, let's go over them in categories. So first we're gonna go over slot 1, and this is blue. Mountaineer, pretty damn good. Increases the height before taking critical damage by 5 meters. Actually, that might not be that good. It increases your climbing though, increases your ladder speed by 15%, but you also have the combat roll, further reduces fall damage by 10% and removes the movement penalty from high fall. So let's see how this plays out. This could be good, this could be bad. It really all depends on the other perks in the blue category to see if this is even gonna be viable. We got cold-blooded, which you guys know that you're immune to a bunch of stuff, right? We got grenadier, which improves explosive equipment and equipment handling. Yeah, this is gonna be okay. I feel like a lot of people don't really use this to begin with. Scavenger, which is probably the most ran one right now, improves ammo and resource acquisition. And then den opponents drop a pack containing additional ammo, equipment plates, and cash. And then veteran. This improves equipment resistance and long-range weapon handling, resistant to flash, concussion, gas, and shock equipment effects, immune to grenadier, increase hold breath duration by 5 seconds, and increases flinch resistance. So right here, I think, honestly, the best one is probably getting Mountaineer here from the blue slots. Now, for red slot, this is slot 2. These are actually really good. This is Bomb Squad. So this reduces explosive and fire damage by 45%, spot and hack equipment through walls, and then highlight equipment for your squad while ADSing, okay? Then we have reactive armor, which was pretty bad last year. Let's see what changes they made. So armor generates up to 100% of its maximum if you avoid damage for 2 seconds. Okay, it says the total approximated time to regenerate to maximum is 20 seconds. I think that's the biggest downside to this perk. It's pretty bad because of that. But they did add something else that maybe could be viable. We'll see. It says breaking armor triggers an EMP effect. It won't re-trigger until armor is fully restored. So now Sprinter. This grants you tactical sprint. This allows you to reload while tactical sprinting, and this reduces movement penalties while reloading or using equipment. With tactical sprint removed from base movement, it is now available through a perk-based choice instead. We've also merged Gung Ho into Sprinter, allowing the perk to fully focus on improving sprinting performance across the board. Now, this one is going to be very, very good. I'm curious to see what people think about this one. I wish they gave us exact numbers and then compared them to last year's game, but it does feel very fast. For sure, this feels faster than last year from what I played. Alertness improves situational awareness, sense opponents within 30 meters, and sense where you're being aimed at. So still, they did nerf it, but it's not that great anymore. Quick fix. This one is obviously incredible, and everybody uses this right now in Warzone. Improves armor handling and health regeneration. This inserts plates one-handed and then immediately begins health regeneration when eliminating opponents or even inserting your armor plates. So it's going to go down between quick fix or Sprinter, I think, from this perk 2 slots. Now, depending on what you're going to be playing, do they come in here? Cold-blooded? No. So you're going to have to make the choice if you're playing Resurgence, which one you want to use. But over here, never mind. You also are going to have to make a choice no matter what. The goal would be if there was lootable perks on the floor, you could possibly have a quick fix, and then you pick up, let's say, Sprinter on the floor or vice versa, but they don't have that. Now for yellow slot 3, this is the yellow ones. This is adaptive. So this, with plates not full, you gain a 10% movement speed boost. Okay, I wonder how much does that mean, right? Like, can you get hit just a little bit and have a 10% increase in movement speed? With plates full, you gain improved ADS speed and Sprinter fire speed. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that. Gain an audible warning when near trap equipment. Okay, that was in one of those other perks last year. Traps triggered by the player are delayed, and gain the ability to reset fuses when throwing back grenades. Okay, so I feel like the first two are going to be really, really dope. That right there is going to be cool. And for Ghost, this undetectable by enemy radar pings while moving, and the effects are disabled as stationary for 1.5 seconds or more. So let's see what they said here. Ghost remains a strong pick, but has become less clear in recent iterations. Starting with BO7, several interactions have been refined to better define its role. It now protects you from standard radar pings and no longer appears on advanced UAVs. However, it will no longer protect you from heartbeat sensors. To balance these changes, the time you can remain stationary before the stealth benefits has been reduced. Wait, hold on. Am I reading this wrong? It now protects you from standard radar pings and no longer appears on advanced UAV. You're telling me that people who are ghosted no longer appear on an advanced at all? I hope I'm reading that right. I hope I'm reading that wrong. We'll keep going, but I hope that's not true. Because this is going to turn into a rat fest. All right, then we have Survivor, improves health regeneration, revive speed, and survivability. This one is actually a pretty big change, and a lot of people were kind of mad about this, but let's see what you guys think. With full armor plates, gain 1 hit protection against ballistic weapons. Pretty much, Survivor now allows you to not get one-shot sniped no matter what. It also allows you, health begins regenerating after 4 seconds, and allies revive you faster. Curious to see what people think about this. Shooting an enemy briefly outlines them based on range, automatically ping the enemy who downs you, and track enemy footprints when you shoot at an enemy. All others can see their footprints for 10 seconds. And then lastly, Tempered, my personal favorite perk. This allows you to refill your armor plates with 2 instead of 3 plates. If I had to choose, let's go back, I would probably put on Mountaineer or Scavenger. Then for perk 2, I'd probably put on either Sprinter or Quick Fix. And then for slot 3, I'm either going to do Adaptive or Tempered. But Ghost, if this actually, even if you're ghosted, you don't come out on advanced UAV, that would be insane. This is going to be incredibly broken. But maybe I read that wrong. Now for loot and economy. Let's go over first seasonal loot. So it says select items will now rotate in and out of availability each season to keep the sandbox fresh. The following list includes all items available in season 1. So what they're adding all BO7 weapon and equipment. So a bunch of new guns, a bunch of new equipment, as you guys saw, static hand curated weapon builds. So I believe this means ground loot changes here. They removed all pre-BO7 weapons except for certain Easter egg rewards, pistols, gas masks, self-revives, and randomized attachments. So are these as a whole or are these ground loot? Wait, whoa. No more gas masks. Well, ground loot, you only get them ground loot. So, whoa, wait, hold on. Whoa, they removed gas masks and self-reses? I kind of like that. Wait, okay. Well, maybe I'm saying that now. Maybe I'll contradict myself later. Well, no, who knows? And they removed randomized attachments. I love this. I think they are talking about ground loot. Even then, that still means that self-revs and gas masks are gone. Now for buy stations, these are the new adjustments to the buy stations. You guys can take a screenshot if you like this, but it does look like everything is for the most part the same. Now for Resurgence, here's the way it's going to work. You can take a screenshot of this if you are a Resurgence player. For Dance, they added all these buy stations here. Now they added some buyback speed adjustments. So further improvements made to how quickly eliminated teammates become available for buyback at buy stations after losing the gulag. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now they adjusted public events. So for Dance, these at the bottom are all the list of public events that can occur and when they can happen. So a jailbreak at Circle 6 would actually be insane. That's kind of crazy. I can't even lie. Now for weapons, I know a lot of people want to know about this. Here's what they said. One of our major goals for this season was to evolve weapon attachments to better support multiple viable build paths per weapon. This gives players more freedom on how they customize their loadouts while providing stronger tuning levers for long-term balance. Now for assault rifle barrels, mid-range barrel expands medium damage range 1, a new Warzone specific stat that improves effectiveness deeper into the mid-range fights. Okay, so this is probably going to change Warzone the way guns feel and certain attachments that contribute to this. So before we've only ever had, I think, 2 ranges. Now they're adding a third one, I guess, for a specific barrel. No, again, we'll see how this all plays out, but this is their kind of way of them finally being able to quote unquote cook. For those of you that don't know, it hasn't been like this. Warzone hasn't been its own entity up until this point. They've had some freedom to change things, but not full freedom. And now starting this year, Warzone and the team over at Raven Software have the ability to change whatever they want now, and they now have free reigns to Warzone. Now they added a control barrel, so this improves recoil control and bullet velocity to enhance long-range accuracy and consistency. We know this one's going to be very heavily used. Yeah, this is probably going to be the meta. Expanded attachment functionality. So suppressors got a buff. They now provide you visual recoil reduction in addition to keeping players off the radar. Mobility focused stocks now improve handling alongside movement benefits. I hope they really went crazy with this. Think of taped grip. I hope they added things like that for these stocks. Heavier stocks further emphasize recoil stabilization for maximum control focused builds. Now for shotgun slugs, for Black Ops 7, pump action shotgun slugs can now secure a one-shot headshot within maximum damage range, offering a high risk, high reward option for skilled close quarters play. So expect to get one-shotted in the head in Warzone. Now for default loadouts, I know a lot of people are wondering with their new changes to them saying that they are going to be updating the meta every 2 weeks, or I think they said like 6 times a season or something crazy like that. Default loadouts are going to be very important if you don't have your guns leveled up. Default loadouts will include the metas currently. So if you guys are like, oh, I don't want to level up my guns, don't worry, they're going to have default loadouts for you. So default loadouts will be regularly updated to reflect the current weapon meta, ensuring players can stay competitive and never feel left behind as the sandbox evolves. So weapon build sharing, we now have the codes to give the weapons, but the codes are like 12 letters long. So I don't know, people are going to want to input that. We'll see how that goes. And then legacy weapons and all that stuff are still available. So now, if you haven't played Black Ops 7, let's go over the new guns. We're going to have the M15 Mod O, which is very good in multiplayer. We have the AK-27. We have the MXR-17, the X9 Maverick, which is a 3-round burst. This one slaps. We have the DS-20 Mirage. And we have the Peacekeeper MK1. And then lastly, we have the Maddox RFB. SMGs, we have the Raiden 45K, the RK9, the Razor 9mm, the Dravik 45, the Carbon 57, the MPC 25, and the Kogat 7. This Kogat is a brand new gun that will be available during the Battle Pass. For shotguns, we're going to have the M10 Breacher, the Echo 12, and the Akita. This Akita is insane on multiplayer. I don't think it's going to be that good in Warzone. For that, all Warzone guns have separate stats as opposed to multiplayer. So right now, if anybody's telling you what's going to be meta, they don't know what's meta until tomorrow, because we have to actually see what different changes they made to these guns for Warzone specifically. Then for LMGs, we got the MK78, the XM325, and the Sokol 545. For the marksmans, we got the M81, 4-round burst, slaps. I love this gun. We have the Warden 308 and the M34 Nova line. For snipers, we got the FS Recon, the Shadow 5K, or SK, I'm sorry, the XR3 Ion. I swear, if this XR3 is meta, I'm going to lose it. This gun was the hardest gun to get all the mastery camos for. I hated it. For pistols, we got the Jaeger Bomb 45, we got the Vlogs 5.7, and the Coda 9. For launchers, we got the Arrow 109, the Arc M1. And for specials, we are going to have the NX Ravager, which would be a new gun that you get during rewards. And for knives, we're going to have the regular knife, the Flatline MK2, and then the ballistic knife, which I believe this is, yes, a weekly challenge reward for week 1. Now for vehicles, we're going to add the Polaris vehicle. No biggie. For challenges, I do think this is super cool. You're going to get a bunch of rewards. If you guys like camos, if you guys like just in general camo grinding, there's going to be an insane amount of camos to get in this game. Like this feeding time one is pretty cool. It's animated, and these are all during the season by doing certain challenges, and then ultimately you get these rewards and stuff. It's pretty dope. Now for the UI, they added a bunch of different stuff. Obviously, they don't have visual representations of what they did, so we're gonna have to wait and see. One thing I think is pretty cool is they added the kick ban feature to private lobbies. So if you watch tournaments, if you watch any of my tournaments, finally we can kick out hackers and ban them, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. So those are the patch notes for tomorrow's update. I am pretty excited. I have added literally 0 content for Warzone. And yes, even though I wish there was a new map, a new big map, the new Blackout 2.0, at the end of the day, I just love Call of Duty and I just want some content. So I'm excited for this update. I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that say Call of Duty Z, Warzone Z. I hate this game. I get it. I understand it. But you know, my brain works differently and it just loves Call of Duty. I don't know why. Yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this or are you guys not? I've been playing Arc Raiders, so if you guys needed a game to play, Arc Raiders is pretty fun. I've been enjoying that. I also played Red Sec. That one's been pretty cool too. So I think overall, right now, if you're a gamer, you're winning. You have Warzone, you have Battlefield Red Sec, and you have Arc Raiders. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What are you guys enjoying? Are you guys excited for this update? Do you think Haven's Hollow is going to be fun? And are you guys excited more so for Blackout 2.0 and Avalon in the future?